It's been 6 months since the Mohammed Yunus government took charge. Looking back, there has been more failures and hopes being dashed in the wake of aspiring for reform and change in the country in the wake of Sheikh Hasina's exit. Political instability stands out while there still appears to be no proper government formed. Here's the story.
Mob rampage at the ancestral home of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the founding father of Bangladesh, in Dhaka last week. Days later, what the administration called Operation Devil Hunt, a crackdown after violent clashes between anti-Sheikh Hasina protesters and locals in Ghazipur. Over 1,300 people were arrested. Again, the outcome of Hasina's ministers being targeted by violent mobs. Fact is, an apparent anti-Hasina vendetta drive has picked up huge pace in Bangladesh these last few weeks, as Mohammed Yunus's original goals of reforms increasingly take a back seat. And instability has taken center stage again. Six months back, there were big hopes when microfinance pioneer Nobel laureate Mohammed Yunus had stepped in. To his credit, he brought in at least a semblance of stability. The economy was moving again. There were steps to rebuild reserves, reform banking, and retrieve bad loans. Mob violence was down. The instability seemed to be easing.
So the first issue that Professor Yunus's government or interim government had to deal with is the complete breakdown of the institutions and processes, so that he inherited from the previous government the July, August upheavals, mass uprising that took place. So as a consequence of that, all the institutions, civil service, police, and other law enforcement was completely, I would say, completely disabled. So he had to reorganize the whole institutional process. And then the second challenge came because the situation came as a consequence of a mass upsurge or mass uprising. The popular demand was to restore democratic rights, restore human rights, and making justice for the crimes committed during the July, August, and before that also.
But the honeymoon was short, too short. His 6 months at the helm are remembered for other things. Law and order and public safety have hit rock bottom. Several Bangladeshi police officers have refused to report for duty. Anti-Hasina activists continue to create ruckus. For all its promise till just a year or so back, the economy is tottering. The US has cut off aid. According to data released by an independent organization, inflation is falling but is still close to double digits. GDP growth between July and December 2024 was less than 2%. FDI fell 71%. No good news on the human rights front either. Amid targeting of journalists, media freedom groups have urged fair trial and upholding of procedural rights. Human Rights Watch has demanded legal detention practices and repeal of laws used to target critics. Yunus drew big flack from his biggest neighbor, India, on the issue of failing to protect religious and ethnic minorities from attacks and harassment. He cited political reasons for the attacks. Many raised concerns on rise of radical Islamist groups after Hasina was removed. What has stood out is a distinct pro-Pakistan tilt. Bangladesh easing visa restrictions for Pakistanis and the growing bonhomie between the two raises big security concerns for India.
This generation which has done this or brought in this generational shift They're all Bangladeshi. They have never seen Pakistan in their lifetime. So they don't know no connection with Pakistan. So Bangladesh is not going back, it is going forward. The locational issue here is very important, location of Bangladesh. So we understand our intimate relationship that we have with all the neighbors, India, China, Pakistan. Relationship with Pakistan was not there during the last 15 years. Now it is seen to be a little bit on the active because of the fact that there was nothing. Now it is coming back to perhaps a normal relationship.
Perhaps the biggest problem stems from there being no clarity on the road ahead on promised reforms. Yunus's government still has no formal mandate. Again, he cites the need for political reforms first. He's promised elections by the end of the year, but the promises remain wishy-washy at best. Whether it is Yunus clinging on or another dispensation, there are big challenges ahead. Uncertainty on ties with the White House, the border crisis with Myanmar, and more weigh heavy. The rocky road for Bangladesh is far from over.